In this video, we're going to be looking at Apache, the web server, MySQL, which is a database, and PHP, which is a web programming language. A few videos ago, we took a look at server-side includes, and the fact is that in order to make server-side includes work, you need to load them and run them on a server. That's why they're called server-side. And to do that, you need to have a server, and normally the server is in a remote location. But there's a way that you can set up a server on your own computer, and this is, if you're on a Macintosh, it's called MAMP, and MAMP stands for Macintosh, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And the tagline is, manage your websites locally. Now I'm going to be showing you this on a Macintosh, but if you're on a Windows machine, there are a number of solutions that you can use, one of which is called WAMP Server, WAMP for Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. You can also go to XAMPP, which is available for Linux, Windows, Mac OS X, and if you're on a Sun Solaris, you can even get it for that. And different versions of XAMPP have different supporting pieces of software, but the version that I use is MAMP. To install it, you download it. Once it's downloaded, you follow through the install, and when it's finished, you will find a folder called MAMP in Applications. To start it up, you just double-click on it, and it has installed Apache, MySQL, and PHP, and you can see down here that the Apache server and MySQL server are running. We'll open the Start page, and this Start page is being served from the server on your own machine. And you can see that here. When you're using a web server on your own machine, the URL starts with localhost. And if you're using MAMP, it uses a port. So there's a colon there and then a port number. And the port is not the usual 80 that most servers use when they're remote. This server is at port 8888. The reason 8888 is used is because Macintosh comes with its own version of Apache, and if it's running, they don't want MAMP to be clashing with the currently running version of Apache. So this is a page which is in the MAMP directory, and it's presumably index.html. Let's take a look and see. Inside the MAMP directory is a folder called htdocs, and htdocs is the folder in which all of your web stuff would go in. And I've got a lot of different projects running, and this is the page that we're looking at here. It's an index.php. Now, PHP is a programming language. It's different from HTML, which is a scripting language. PHP provides the glue for websites to be able to use MySQL databases. So you may have information in a database that you want to call up or you want to store, and PHP is the programming language that you use to connect HTML with a database. And MySQL is the standard database that's used in the open source community. By the way, all of these pieces of software, MAMP, WAMP, and XAMPP, are all open source, which means they're freely available. So let's take a look at MAMP. On the page, the first item is PHP, and if you want to check to see if PHP is actually running, you can click this link, PHP info, and it gives you the report of all of the aspects of PHP that are currently running. Let's go back. MySQL. MySQL is the database system which is administered with a thing called PHP MyAdmin. Clicking on this, you can take a look at the different databases that are running on your system. Now, when you first load MAMP on your machine, you'll probably only see the information schema database. The other ones are databases that I have created over the last few years. Let's go into the WordPress, and you can see the different database tables. Each one of these is a table, and for this particular install of WordPress, we can look at, say, take a look at the posts, and each posting has its own content. So for something like WordPress, WordPress is really a system where all the content is installed in a database just like this. The posts are added into various tables, and when you look at it, it's just formatted in a different way. So the content that you're looking at is actually content in a database, which is served up by the Apache server through the HTML system to your web browser. So let's go back to the Start menu. So what does this actually give you in terms of a benefit? For you as a front-end coder, coding the front end, which is the HTML, you have the option of dispensing with FTP. If you have your work on your own machine, you don't need to have FTP to be able to work on the files and have them served up. All you do is locate them into your htdocs inside MAMP and then use the URL localhost to find those pages. So for example, let's grab our website, DSGN2510. And this is it here. I'm going to hold down the Option key and copy a version of this into htdocs. Now, once it's in htdocs, if I go to my website using localhost /initializer, it serves me the index page of Ralph Spoilsport Motors. So now that the folder is copied over to the htdocs, I'm going to move this to the trash so I don't have two different copies and get confused. Now when I open it up in Text Wrangler, I'll go to htdocs and open it from there. So if I create server-side includes, or I add this to link to social media, this will all show up because it's being served on my localhost MAMP server. An added benefit to having your own server is that changes and updates are very, very fast because you're not having to ask a remote server, which may be in another country, to grab the information and send it back to you. It's all local on your own machine, and it's limited only by the speed of your hard drive, really. As well, if you're on the road and you have a laptop, you can install something like MAMP on your laptop, and you can be disconnected from the network and still have all the benefits of having a server, but it's locally on your own machine. So hopefully this has demystified a little bit some of the things you may have been wondering about servers and databases and how that all goes together. And in the next video, we'll be taking a look at the remote server, and we'll be looking at the cPanel and all the different bells and whistles that come with having your own remote server.